Hey, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Scents of South Jersey with me, Kellen, for another fragrance video. This is going to be another edition of the Then and Now series. And if you're new to the channel or just haven't seen a Then and Now video before, what that is where I take a current formulation of a fragrance and compare it to its vintage formulation, compare and contrast the differences in the presentation, the scent, the performance, pretty much all the facets of the fragrance. And then I give you all my overall thoughts on it, if it's worth purchasing the vintage or if the current formulation is just fine. So in this video for Then and Now, what we're going to be taking a look at is an amazing classic Italian Aromatic Fougere from the house of Nino Cerruti. It is none other than 1881, again by Nino Cerruti too. So we're going to take a look at the presentation. Again, remember the presentation portion of the Then and Now is a little bit longer because you're going to take a look at the different variations of the fragrance, and I have 3 generations of it here. And then we'll talk about the scent and the performance, compare and contrast them, and then I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on if you should purchase the vintage, is it worth it? Before we get started in this video, if you have not yet subscribed and you enjoy the type of fragrance videos that I create, make sure to subscribe. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers. That is a huge milestone for me. If you have an Instagram, check out the Scents of South Jersey Instagram page for news and updates on the channel, photos of fragrances from my collection, and daily scent of the day posts. And also, if you have a TikTok, follow Sabro88 on TikTok. Not really fragrance related, but another hobby of mine. You'll see if you go check it out. And then I'd like to mention that I do have a Mercari page. And guys, I've been listing fragrances that I've reviewed, that I've talked about, things that are rare, discontinued, hard to find, that I just do not find myself wearing. And I have them up there for sale if you want to check it out for other people, to enjoy those fragrances. So I'll put the link to that in the description below. You just copy and paste it into the search bar. And the username is SOSJ. So without wasting any more time, let's compare the versions of 1881 by Nino Cerruti. Okay, so let's start things off with the presentation. Let's see the differences in the box. So let's go way back to the very first formulation, or what I believe is at least the oldest thing that I can track down to. So you can see the box is similar, but it's gonna see that darker kind of speckled look on it here, Nino Cerruti. The big difference is in the color of the box, that darker color here, and you'll see the other one in a moment when I can compare. And then you turn it around, and if you see this marking, then you know that this is the older of the formulations, and the manufacturer is Parfums International. So, but that symbol right there, that from what I understand from sources that I trust, is the older versions of that, compared to say like a newer box. Now you see that compared to that, kind of blocking me out there, but you see how this is much lighter green. This is the most recent. This is EA, I think Parfums. And then there's another one right before this made by Coty. So these are the 2 boxes. Now, if you take a look at the fragrance, here is another one, right? It's a 200 ml. This is another recent one you can see on the back here. Just to take a look at that. And again, EA Cosmetics, it says it right there, versus on this one, it's gonna say it right where my finger is, and that says Parfums International too. There's gonna be one that was in between the 2, and that is this version. The box pretty much looks the same. Can't really see too much. This one was by Unilever, and that says it right there, Unilever Cosmetics too. So then they switched over to Coty, and then Coty switched over to EA, but the original one was Parfums International. Now, the interesting thing is, let's take a look at the fragrance. Look at how dark that juice is. This is the Parfums International one here. You can see Cerruti 1881. It's still got that frosted glass on the back and the front, but the sides are clear, and you got that sticker down there below. It's like straight whiskey colored. It's so dark. And you take the cap off, they don't have the neck cover. You can just see the crimp, sort of a little bit cheaper on the presentation on when it comes to the sprayer, but great distribution. Then, you take a look at something like this. Look at the contrast in the juice. Like, isn't that crazy? This is actually an aftershave too, so that doesn't count. But let's pull up that 200 ml so you can see the difference here. Still completely different color. Now, I don't know if that's because it changed over time, or maybe it was this dark. People that have had it back in the day when it came out in 1990, let me know. Let's check out the distribution on this one. See, much nicer neck though, and a better sprayer than the vintage. Now let's take a look at the middle of the road one. This is the Unilever. So it's still dark, but not as dark. So it's funny. I think age might have something to do with it. If you take this one off, you can see here, better sprayer, but cleaner neck. I'm trying to get the other one off, guys, bear with me. And this one just looks a little bit more heavy duty on the sprayer too. So the distribution on that. Now that I'm swimming in 1881, but you can see the difference in the presentation and the color of the juice and how it looked. I think it evolved over time a little bit when it comes to the look of the bottle, but the scent, there's definitely some differences. Okay, as far as the notes goes, I've already done a review on the fragrance, and I got my notes information from Fragrantica online. So if you want to go check out my older video of Cerruti 1881, check that out. That's my traditional review where I break it down all the way. This is a then and now video, so I'm not really going to get into the notes because you could just go look them up online, and I've already done a review of that too. So what we're going to talk about next is going to be the performance. So when it comes to the performance, the vintage versions, whether it's the Parfums International or the Unilever Productions or Cosmetics, excuse me, these definitely last longer. They're thicker and they last longer. With this one, especially when it comes to skin and clothing, skin it lasts longer. Overall, it's going to perform better. Clothing, I'm getting a full work day with this stuff. Like I smell it the entire time I'm at work, and when I go to the gym and I start sweating, these Fougeres, a lot of Aromatic Fougères do this, but this one in particular, I can start to sweat if it's on my skin, and then all of a sudden I'll just get random huge whiffs of the scent too. So it stays with you with the vintage version for sure. When it comes to the current formulation on skin, it's not going to last that long, unfortunately, at least in my experience. But on clothes, it does last too, and you can spray heavy. That's why I get these big bottles, because I like to dump this stuff on me. And this is one that I love. It's such an inexpensive fragrance, and it smells so good. And that just proves that you don't need to spend a ton of money to get a quality fragrance. So if you're going to performance, there's no question the vintage version is going to outperform the current. The current, people complain how it doesn't last that long or whatever, but at the end of the day, it still smells amazing, but this one, that's why you can overspray with this. It will last more on clothing, but overall the vintage is going to take the performance in the comparison. Okay, let's compare the scent. Let me just do this one more time. We'll get this is the oldest version. Spray that right there. This is the middle one, the Unilever Cosmetics. We'll spray this one on my upper arm. And then we'll go ahead and put the current formulation where it was on this hand. Do not pick that up by the cap. It is way too heavy. So we'll let that set in. In my experience with it, this and this, especially this one though, is more dank. It's greener, it's thicker. It comes on way less fresh. And then when it dries down, it has a really herbal, like mossy and citrus mixed tone, where this one is much brighter and it's fresher, so it's pretty cool. And I was talking to Keith from Manly Scents, and him and I agree with him on this one. This is better for the heat, the high heat, and as it cools down, you can wear the vintage. I've worn them anytime, any place, but that idea makes sense that this is the fresher of the bunch here too. So this one, yeah, it smells a little bit cleaner. Where this one, it smells richer, thicker, denser. It's definitely got more going on. Obviously, the notes back then were of higher, quality and usage. Whereas here, this is going to be, to today's standards, regulations of the IFFRA or whatever that is. So it's definitely regulated. There's absolutely a scent difference with this one. Like when I first sprayed and smelled the vintage, either version of it, I was just like, wow, it's completely more heavy duty. It's not completely different. Scent is similar, but it's definitely just enhanced and on steroids. And that goes to show that with a fragrance like this, when they change it and they kind of lighten it up, I wouldn't say neutered. It still smells fantastic. You know what I mean? I think you can't go wrong either way, but this one definitely stands out when it comes to just the richness of the scent overall. And there you kind of pick up on more notes. I've enjoyed it more because I've noticed different things about it, different points where I'm like, wow, it's a lot stronger, or the oak moss and citrus combination is absolutely, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but very present, good projection. And this one is just a fresher, lighter version. Still smells fantastic though. So one thing I do want to touch on is that this has a full body line too. You guys know I like to do that. I like to match and pair the products with their body line products for performance purposes, and it just is awesome, and it really increases the smell and just the experience for me. It's something I've always liked to do. So they do have an aftershave, right? You can get the aftershave. I have a vintage aftershave. Parfums International version, this version, the darkest, the oldest version, but I didn't see a point in bringing that down because again, it's just an aftershave. So, and don't worry about getting a vintage with that. Go ahead and just get the current formulation. It's great, inexpensive. You can get them on FragranceNet or private seller, doesn't matter. I even have one of these vintage travel sprays. Like if you take a look at this one here too. Now this one is weird. It even says they're not for sale. So this definitely came in a gift set or was like a throw-in gift. It's just like almost an ounce, I think 25 ml. This one has like a great sprayer, but almost more of a floral scent. Again, same smell, but whatever the floral notes in this particular bottle seem to be enhanced. It's green, but more floral, less dank. Still very fresh, clean, and obviously the Cerruti 1881 version, but it says Nino Cerruti there. So the presentation is different. That cap's got the same color as the box. I like this one. I bring it around if I'm traveling and bringing that scent with me. They have the aftershave balm, which I used today. Smooth smell. So this one smells very herbal and green, more like a spice cabinet herbal. They have a body wash. The body wash smells so good. They have a deodorant. This is a great deodorant stick. Recently, I did a video on Ludisi Pour-Homme by Issey Miyake, and that deodorant stick, I said it was awesome. It lasted all day. Same type of thing here, non-alcoholic, really clean, goes on, doesn't leave any stains or anything like that on your shirt. And they have a deodorant spray here too that I got in a gift set. The body line products that are hard to find are the shower gel, the balm, and the deodorant. This body spray is easy, the aftershave is easy. So those two things I only have one of, you know what I mean? Especially the balm, I actually have 2 deodorants, but those things will help increase the performance and they're really good to pair with. Okay, so without further ado, the final moment. This is the vintage worth it part. Is the vintage version worth buying for Nino Cerruti's 1881? The answer to that question is 100%. Absolutely, it's worth buying. If you can find it, it's not going to be that expensive. The 200 mLs, I've seen some on eBay, and it's just a stock photo. So be careful because it could be a stock photo, but they could just mail you this. You can go on other sites, more bigger non-private seller sites, and get these for like 40 bucks. Joma Shop, I know, has them for 40 bucks. A couple places on eBay, but I've seen them. They're showing stock photos of either this or the Unilever cosmetic one, and they are charging a lot more too. So just be careful, make sure you can get it, make sure there's pictures of the boxes. If you see this kind of print, the darker looking box, it still could be a Coty, which isn't that old. So see if they have the back, you can see it's either gonna say Unilever, or if you see this on here, then it's gonna be vintage, but it's absolutely worth it. It's not that expensive. You're gonna be spending around $50 to $65, whereas the new bottles, you can get for $20, $30. I did get 2 of these, the Unilever ones, because I just love the scent. These are things that I'm going to use. You guys know when I use fragrances, I blow through them. So is it worth getting the vintage? 100%. But if you can't, or you're just not comfortable spending the money and not sure what you're going to get, do not be disappointed with the current version, because it smells fantastic. Essentially the same scent, just not nearly as rich or strong as the current formulation is. Okay, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me for this edition of Then and Now. And again, we compared the 1990 Aromatic Fougere fragrance from the Italian house of Nino Cerruti, and that is Cerruti 1881 too. So I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Do you like this fragrance? Do you love it like me? Is it one that you always want to have? Which do you prefer, the current or the vintage, or do you not care? Also, have you heard of Cerruti 1881 Intense? That's something I'm trying to track down. I can't find it. If you have any information, let me know. I'm sure we could work something out too. But thank you all for watching and hanging out with me today. Remember to subscribe. Remember to follow the Instagram page. Let me know in the comment section what you think of the fragrance, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Take care.